Hi, everyone, and welcome to the discussion on the unemployment rate. You'll notice that the unemployment rate is a very important economic indicator that impacts our daily lives. If you watch the news, you'll notice that this unemployment rate will tell us a lot about how the economy is doing, and it would impact what is going on as well, as it's a good gauge of economic activity. So when we look at the economy, in this chapter, we're going to define what the labor force is and how to calculate the unemployment rate. So the labor force is looking at people that are employed and people that are unemployed. Now think to yourself, which one are you? Employed or unemployed? Or are you not in the labor force? That's another classification. So everyone is going to be one of these three things. So to be classified in our economy, you're going to be employed if you're working at least an hour a week. Now you're unemployed if you're 16 years or older who's actively seeking a job, and you're not in the labor force if you're neither of those. Now, examples of people that might not be in the labor force, that would be things like full-time students, retired people, people that don't want a job. All of those could be classified as people that are not in the labor force. So think about this. Which one are you classified out of all those three? And that's an important aspect right there to figure out how are you classified. And then we're going to see how your classification affects the unemployment rate. Now, if we look right here, you have 251 million people. That's the working age population. You have 157 out of that are in the labor force. Now, just because you're in the labor force doesn't mean you're working. All it means is you're either looking for a job or working. So right now, you have 8 million people, just an example of this time frame, 8 million people that are unemployed, 150 million people that are employed. That's a very small number if you look at it. You have 94 million that are not in the labor force. Now, this could include people that are homemakers, full-time students, as we discussed. And then you have about 6 million that are available for work, but not currently working. So think about that. 8 million people out of 251 million are not working. Now, is that an accurate number for an economy? Do you think that really accurately depicts how our economy is doing? That's a very good question. Now, when we look at this, how do we calculate the unemployment rate? To calculate the unemployment rate, it's the number of unemployed. So number of unemployed is 8 million divided by the labor force. So that's 158 million, 157 million. That's 5.1%. Now, what does that unemployment rate mean? What is that going to establish? If I tell you 5.1%, a lot of people will get this confused. 5.1% means out of the labor force, 5% are not working. The biggest misconception of this number is people think 5% of the adult population is not working, which is incorrect, because a lot of people, remember, are not in the labor force. So this is something that I think will be very important in your daily life when you turn on the news and you see what's going on. You want to establish how to understand how this rate impacts what your future spending is going to be like and what the expectation of the economy is. Now, if you have additional questions, please let me know, but I look forward to your effort this semester or this week on this concept.